Hey guys, welcome to JasonWhiskyWise with myself, Jason, bringing you whiskey review number 31. Where we're going to review the Glenfiddich IPA cask. So if you're wondering what is the IPA cask, we'll get down to that in just a second. Next to it, we actually have also the Project XX, which I'm going to take and put behind and bring out the IPA. So the IPA is the first release in the experimental series. If you want to see the Project XX, I'll leave it over here at the end of the video. But the IPA is the first release in the experimental series where they're going to be using different style of casks and sort of just behind the different mind of Brian Kinsman, the malt master. So we've got ourselves poured a little dram over here. Just let it settle for a little period of time. We'll move into my review style structure, which is assessing the whiskey. But to start off, the age of this whiskey, it is a non-age stated whiskey. It is bottled at an ABV of 43%, and the cask selection behind this one is it's finished in an IPA, Indian Pale Ale cask, for 3 months. Now it's actually selected, or the casks were specially seasoned by a Speyside brewery. So quite an interesting style over there behind the cask in terms of the finishing. The distillery is the Glenfiddich distillery, which I'll leave a picture of over there. And the parent company is William Grant & Sons, and they're located in Speyside, Scotland over there. Very close to also the sister distilleries. Now, in terms of the price point of view, I paid close to around about £45 in Tesco's for this one. You can pick it up in whiskey specialist shops. Let me know if you guys, where you are in the world, leave it down below in the comment section if you find it in one of your shops, because I know it is becoming a bit more difficult to find, and that will actually move on to Exclusivity wise. It is a little bit difficult to get a hold of because it is the first release in the experimental series, but I hope they will be making more. Now in terms of caramel colouring, there is none actually stated on the bottle. Yeah, nowhere on the bottle it states about E150A or on the back of the tin, so we're going to go with natural colour for this whiskey. So without further ado, let's assess the colour of this whiskey and get into the tasting. So into the actual assessment of the colour over there, I'm going to hold that up in front of the camera. It should focus. You get quite a nice sort of golden colour with this one. It doesn't look darker, doesn't look too light like a straw gold, so I'm going to go with the gold. So first assessment off the nose, I'm picking out a very nice tangy, fresh green apple bursting in their juicy character. Vanilla cream right behind that, and then I'm picking out a sort of citrus note, which reminds me of more of lemon segments. No skin or no zest whatsoever, just the segments inside. And you're getting the distinctive character from the IPA cask, which is that hoppy character, hoppy notes, and also a little bit of freshly cut pineapples right on the end. So a really lovely, interesting, fresh nose to this whiskey. Next up, let's assess the palate. First impressions off the palate is that I'm picking out a very nice light, sort of silky mouthfeel to it. As you leave it longer on the palate, it does develop into a medium body. But in terms of the flavour profile, it starts off with a nice citrus tangerine character, which just works its way around the palate. Then I'm getting a sort of a lemon zest, bringing to a sort of a freshness to the palate, followed by a sort of cinnamon spice that leaves a slight sort of a little bit of a bitter note just right at the end, and that hoppy note, probably it's the hops on the end, which sort of brings that little bit of a bitter note right to the end. So next up, let's finish off with the assessing of the finish, and then we'll get to the end of the review. But very nice, gentle whiskey this one is, not over the top, and quite mellow. To finish with this whiskey, it does have a very, I'd say I like towards like a light medium. Probably at the moment more fading towards a light because it doesn't stay around the palate very long. You get a very nice mixture and a combination of citrus and pineapple, and those distinctive IPA characteristics of that sort of hoppy notes, which do sort of fade rather quickly. So not a very long lingering finish to this whiskey. So overall, I have to give my rating for this whiskey. I'm going to put my glass just to the side. I'm going to go with a 83 out of 100. And the reason behind this is because it doesn't burst in mass complexity, but it is a very nice, gentle dram. It doesn't sort of, you know, push you out the way, but at the same time, if you are someone who drinks IPAs and sort of, you know, into your beers, you're going to find this a very nice whiskey to sort of get into. Maybe if you're trying to get into whiskeys, this is something you'll enjoy a lot more. In terms of water, please do not add water. I would not recommend that, as it is very light already, and I feel it will just make it even too light, which you wouldn't really get the flavors for this whiskey. But otherwise, minus that, is very gentle. It is very nice and smooth. And in terms of value for money, around about £45 I believe I paid. It's a little bit higher than what I'd want to pay for this sort of style of dram. Maybe if it was around about the mid-30s, be right in my budget. But at the minute, I'm still on the fence about that one. So main thing is a price issue. But minus that, flavor profile is quite gentle, quite soft. And it can be used as a very good introductory whiskey to someone trying to get into whiskey who's mainly a beer or IPA drinker. And it's also a different style than whiskey altogether. So on that note, I'm going to leave the video on that note. If you have tried the Glenfiddich IPA cask, let me know down below in the comment section, or also write it on my blog. I'm going to leave the Project XX here when I do upload it in the next day or so. And also feel free to click my subscribe button where you can keep up to date with all my latest video reviews. But on that note, Jason from WhiskyWise, and I'll catch you all for the next video.